joined here by head coach Phil Neville. Do you want to start off with questions or
It feels
thoughts?
weird in here, doesn't it?
I know.
It feels weird. No questions today. Just fire away.
Okay.
Sorry, no.
No thoughts,
No
just
thoughts.
questions. No thoughts, just vibes.
Phil, obviously, unfortunately, Jim Raforia is suspended for this game at
Yeah.
SKC. What's the decision to the starting left back slot?
Well, it's between Ian Smith and Claudio Bravo. They've both played in training so well for the last since the start of the season. It's going to be one of the toughest decisions to make probably this weekend. I see them both participating in the game at some point. I think everyone knows how much what I think of Ian Smith. I think he's come in and he's been a breath of fresh air. He's been slightly ahead of Claudio in terms of the minutes played. So I think that's a big decision to make in terms of the rest of the team. I think we're in a position where apart from Jimmy, we've got everybody fit and available, and we're looking forward to that selection problem and that competition for places and the extra quality that in particular Jona brings back to the team.
How is prepping for an interim head coach a bit different? Only a one-game sample size under the new manager. Are they playing differently than they did under Peter Vermees? Is there a lot of similarities, a lot of differences?
Well, I think normally you would say, there might be changes, but I think when somebody like Kerry has been there a long time under Peter, a long time, you're talking not just 2 or 3 years, you're talking like 16 years, I think it was, or even longer. So they've obviously been in a boot room together, deciding tactics together, and they've got similar probably philosophies on the game. So I think what we saw last week was no different than what we saw the week before when they played against Dallas under Peter. And watching the last game of Peter's against Dallas, I thought they played really well. They're an aggressive team. They've got aggressive front players with quality up front. It's going to be a really difficult game. The 1 o'clock kickoff is different than what we faced this season. So I think we know, having experienced it last year, that we've got to play really well to get any kind of result, and we want to keep the momentum that we're building going.
Coach, sometimes it looks like Santiago Moreno is trying to do maybe a little bit too much with the ball at his feet. And how do you think his ability could be improved if he's picking his head up, trying to make the right pass, and trying to get David DaCosta involved a little bit more as well?
Yeah, well, I think what you saw last week in Austin was quite natural in terms of, he'd been out for so long, he'd worked so hard, the adrenaline of the first couple of games, and then you just hit that little bit of you can always tell when a player is tired, that's his decision making. I thought his decision making last week in Austin wasn't quite Santi level. But he's a massive player for us. I think the next step for Santi is that final pass, that final shot, that decision making in the final third, and we're gonna challenge him and demand more from him because he's a big player for us. We need to be a goal threat. We didn't score any goals last week, and we need those types of players to play well for us.
With how well Anthony has been playing to start the year, how important are his coming games with Jona coming back to health, and how do you kind of Tetris that together with balancing? Obviously, we know what Jona can do, but Anthony's been one of your hottest players so far.
Yeah, I think Anthony is one of the first on the team sheet at this moment in time. Talking to Dave Vandenberg about him this morning, he's in a real good place mentally. Physically, I think he's got stronger. He's maturing in his game, and I think from a point of view of selection at this moment in time is that it's not when does Jona come in to replace him, is that when does Jona get in the team, and where does Jona get in the team, or who misses out for Jona apart from Anthony. So I think it's fair to say that Jonathan is on a return to play type minutes at this moment in time, where we're going to build him up slowly, but we've got 9-10 games in May where we're going to need him for large parts of the game. But he's trained one session with the team, and he'll train again tomorrow. So to ask him to start a game is I think really unfair. But without a doubt, we want to get him on the pitch, and you just hope that Anthony now rises to that challenge, and that's the key. You've got to rise to the challenge. You've got to accept that every position in the team now has 2 players below them. Or a player below the starting player, and this week we've had times when we've played the team versus the other guys that are not playing, and the other guys have been better, and that tells me that them guys underneath now are pushing to start, and any complacency from the starting 11, I think I'll make changes.
Good morning, Phil.
Morning.
One of the big cliches in this sport when a new manager is hired is that new manager bounce. How much of that do you think is a cliche, and how much of it do you think is real, as from your experience as a coach and a player?
You do get a bounce in freshness, and I suppose it's not just the starting, it's not just the team, it's the whole club gets a bounce. But I've got to say, between what I saw against them playing against Dallas and what I saw against St. Louis, I've got to say there was very little in terms of difference in style and quality. I thought they played brilliant against Dallas and deserved something out of the game, and they were playing well at the end of Peter's reign. It's amazing how a game against St. Louis last week, where just a change creates probably different, little bit more luck, maybe a bounce of the ball, because St. Louis could have been up in the game easily. Things went the Kansas way, and they ended up winning the game. And I'm glad they got their first win out of the way before we got them. We know we're in for a tough game. I think, regardless of the position of KC, I've always thought it's a real difficult place to play, and we've got to respect them, and we've got to make sure that we're on our game.
Phil, there was a lot of noise in MLS yesterday about the potential schedule change, and that may be coming in 26, 27. Just your thoughts on that as someone who played over 500 games in the Premier League with that proposed new schedule?
Well, I think aligning with the rest of the world makes total sense. You think about the international. I always look at the international windows when teams have up to 5-6 players away, and I think it just minimalizes the competition in terms of sort of like, you can catch a team in the international break, a successful team, and you can catch them with 5-6 players away, and you could win that game, and that could be the difference at the end of the season. So I think it's brilliant that we're working towards it. Logistically, I think it's probably a minefield to organise with the climates here over the times with the European schedule. But I think it shows the progression in the league, the way that the league continues to go forward, or wants to go forward and move forward, that we're aligning with the rest of the world. And I think what will be the beneficials will be the international windows for sure, that we're all aligned, and then the transfer windows. I think that will help massively in terms of the influx of players in the summer window with nine games to go will now be an influx of players in the summer window with the start of the season to come. I think that where I feel as if we'll make the big strides will be aligned in the summer windows and the transfer windows with the rest of the world, where we're thinking in January to bring in 5, 6, 7 players when the rest of the world only probably moves 1 or 2 players. And then in the summer, when we've got 9 games to go, that's when everyone's on a free transfer, that's when everyone wants to move, and clubs really then are probably not got as much garm and money left to spend on the rest of the season. So I see those as the main benefits.
Thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
We'll wrap it there.